Okay, this is my biweekly check-in for my AV3900 project. So I'll just kind of be covering what I've done this week, what I'm working on currently, and then just what I hope to work on later. So, all right. So this is what the Penguin looked like when it came in the box. So if you're interested in that, that's what it looked like. So, or at least in a lot of YouTube videos, they always do the unboxing. So, woohoo! Um, and then, so I mostly did a bunch of soldering this week, so I had a nice and organized workstation, so heck yeah. For the most part, I mostly just worked on getting my flight controller set up, so just, they have a couple of pin stacks that you solder in there, and then my ESC. I started working on my GPS today, and then my VTX I can easily get done. My camera, I need to make that longer. I'll kind of cover those things a little bit later, but uh, for the most part, I just have my ESC done and my flight controller more or less done as well. So, or at least the parts that go on my flight controller, not the peripheral devices. So on my ESC here, I installed these leads for my two ESCs, and then there's this XT60 lead for my battery as well. I tried to measure these out, so they should be plenty long, especially with my battery, or the lead coming off a battery. This XT60 mount should be just fine as well. So I forgot to put my capacitor on the first time, so I had to add it in there. And I don't have any like good helping hands. I just have these ones I found on printables. So it was kind of a pain, but and I bridged like all my grounds together, and not that it really matters for your grounds, but I tried to clean them up. So anyway, fun stuff. For my flight controller, I mostly got all these pins installed. So the signal pins, the voltage pins, and the ground pins. The receiver, these four pads here. So like your ground and your UART connections, and then your voltage. Those came with a 4-pin insert as well. So I just put that in, and they actually sent me a 4-pin connector for that. So I just need to get a 3-pin and a single pin connector for my ER5A. So all of that should play out pretty well. So, and then after all of that, I powered it up. I should have done this when I first got my receiver, but I didn't. But everything powers up, so uh, it should be working. So, I got my camera this week. So this is the Run Camtone Pro. It seemed to be pretty reasonably priced compared to some of their other models. So, and everybody seemed to like it. So that works out. It came with its own little mount, so these are made out of TPU. Um, when I put them together, you can run a little M2 screw through this hole here, and then it goes through here as well. It was pretty wobbly when I did that, so I found some other guy posted the base plate here on Thingiverse, so I just printed one out of PLA, and it ended up working pretty well. So I just mounted it on that cover there, and I think it'll be just fine. So it's not obstructing anything, and I don't really have any other ideas of where to mount it, so I think that'll work just fine. So that's it for most of my pictures. So I'm just gonna cover a couple of things through here. So this is the Penguin, so pretty neat. Uh, it's got the two compartments here. It's got these two little ones in the wings. It's got some LEDs on the back. And it's all my servos and stuff were installed. Even my motors were installed. So, um, what was I gonna say? Um, so for my GPS and receiver, most people will put them in these two compartments on the wings here. Um, I might do that with my receiver. My compass, I was planning on doing that with. However, my compass, I have this one here. If I were to do that, I'd have to put it in, run the wires through, and then solder it to my stack, and I don't know if I want to do that, so I'm thinking of a different mounting method. Um, I'll kind of go over that in a sec as well. So, but for the most part, the Penguin's pretty sweet. All I had to do is put the wings on. They have these little quick release devices right here, so you can pop them off if you need to. There's just a little bit of a little spar that runs through the entire thing. You can kind of see it there, I think. Yeah, so pretty cool. So For so when we were talking about my VTX, I ended up printing that cover out. This is it right here. So I printed it at a lightweight PLA, and it has these two intake ports on either side, and then it has some exhaust vents basically. So I think that should help with keeping my VTX cool. I don't think I want to run it up into my nose. It's just a lot more wire I'd have to splice in and run. And then on my nose, it also has, so my camera will go here, and then it has these three intake ports here as well. So I think that should be plenty of airflow going into this thing. So, but we'll find out, I guess. Um, so that's kind of what it looks like on the aircraft. So hopefully I can get enough airflow through that center port as well. But the intake ports stick out pretty well, and then it looks pretty cool too. So yeah. So for my GPS, I don't think I'm gonna mount it in one of those side wings. So I ended up, I think I want to mount it on top of this cover actually. So what I'm thinking about doing, well, so this cover, it has a couple of other mounting holes, I guess you could say, that came with it. So there's this like hexagonal one right here. It runs through this top section, and then they have this back here. So I might run like my antenna out of this, and then anyway, there's a bunch of other just miscellaneous things on there. So for my compass, what I'm thinking about doing, so I don't have to put it inside my aircraft, maybe have it sit on the outside, is I might mount it back here, and then I can run my wires down in there or something like that. But so with this hole specifically, what I ended up doing was I designed a couple of pieces on SolidWorks. So this has a hexagonal piece that I can run through that, and then I'll just have my compass sit in this little tray. So it should work out pretty well. It's something I'm still trying out though, so we'll see how it goes. I did print out this piece already, and it seems to fit just fine, so it's worth a shot, I guess. So for the most part, that's pretty much it. The only other things I really need to do are or get my receiver done, of course, and my compass done. My camera, this is the wire they have for my camera, so it's not nearly long enough. So I need to run it from my stack, which will be back here, to my nose. So I'll have to splice in some more wire. I need to get some more, so that's on the to-do list as well. So other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks.